What is up, guys? Welcome to another live episode of the ScuttleButt Show. We're live here on YouTube right now, so feel free to hit me up in the comments or whatever you want to talk about. I'm here. What is up, Colton? Good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, bud. It is the day before Thanksgiving here in Okinawa, Japan, so this is going to be my last episode of the week. It's a short week. I'm back from vacation and back on to doing the show here, but it is the holidays, and I got to spend time with the family, and have a nice meal and honor the day as best as I can. So we'll be doing that. But it is nice to be here, and we do have a lot of cool stories to cover. Right off the bat, if you are following along on YouTube, maybe you missed yesterday's episode and you were checking out the clips that were posted this morning. The Army ACFT clip, there was an audio sync issue, which I am aware of now, and I will be taking corrective action on this afternoon. So you can still go watch it. It's got all the information. It's just that the sound doesn't line up with the movement of my mouth, which is quite troubling to watch. It definitely doesn't make it easy to watch. So as always, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys got. But I thought I would get right into some of the stories that we got going on. But I was, I right before I got on today, I'm browsing through the internet as I do to prepare for these shows. And I was like, I wonder who around the different branches is doing what for Thanksgiving here. And I found what has to be one of the worst military holiday videos that I've ever seen. I'm so thankful I get to share it with you guys. It is quite spectacular in its badness, in my opinion. And it's maybe it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. I will let you guys decide. But without me doing it, further ado, do you ado something when you further it? Here is. Correct me in the comments if you or email me at the ScuttleButtShow@gmail.com with how bad of a host I am. So here is the Marine Corps' Thanksgiving holiday safety video brought to you by the ScuttleButt Show.
The holiday weekend's coming up, and everyone's looking forward to enjoying their long weekend. Lots of family, food, time to relax. But there's some ground rules we have to cover first.
Getting in the car with the beer is a good choice. Turning the car on, that's a DUI right there. That's already a DUI.
Be smart. Don't drink and drive.
Now she says don't drink and drive, so she slips over into the passenger seat, which is not going to get you out of that DUI.
And if you're under 21, don't drink at all.
And also don't hand a beer to somebody who's under 21.
NJPs aren't cool. Designated drivers are.
Neither are cool.
Second, be safe.
Almost put in the wrong seatbelt buckle.
Whatever you're doing this holiday weekend, don't take any unassumed risks. And last, be clean. We're in a pandemic, and sanitation is key.
First of all, he should have his mask on. Too many people in the car. I don't think they're all in the same family. Driving away. Ran a stop sign. I don't know. That has to be one of the worst military safety videos I've ever seen. And we've all been made to sit through a bunch of them, I think. So that one's not good. Colton says, I don't miss the Marine Corps. It's true. Stuff like that is not, it's easy to not miss that, or it's hard to miss stuff like that. That's super cringeworthy video right there. I'm so glad I found that. Like, as far as safety videos go, you can always expect a few things. Don't drink and drive. Have a buddy. Okay? But I can't believe they left out don't bang the turkey. Don't sexually assault the turkey. I can't believe that was left out of that video. I feel like that was an opportunity missed. And, the only thing that should be stuffed in the turkey is breadcrumbs. So the Marine Corps tried. Hey, speaking of the Marine Corps, since I just had to kind of jack them up a little bit, let me, this isn't one of our big stories today. I'll get the two big stories that I have today are pretty serious stuff. So I didn't want to start off with those, but I do have this other story about the Marine Corps that I want to share with you guys. Let me pull this up real quick. The other day, there's a video of this on YouTube right now, and the video is called Running Towards Danger or something like that. But if you see this image right here, and you could probably read the headlines already from Marine Corps Times, Marines from Washington Barracks help save woman trapped under a car. So the other day on November 7th, Corporal Denny Bohne, B-O-H-N-E, was heading to the chow hall at the Marine Barracks in Washington to get breakfast, so this was in the morning. A woman riding a scooter just outside of the gate, like if you watch the video, just outside of the security gate of the base, she had gotten hit by a car. So you can see the guys in the guard shack kind of react to this. When you first pull up to a scene like that, your mind is racing because the rarity of someone actually being trapped under a vehicle, firefighter Glenn Hanna says. So Engine 18, the fire company that responded to this, was has some remarks in this article. But the Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Belko, the guard duty officer that morning, had rushed into action. So the Marines were the first responders to this incident here, and they had gotten there. So there's a woman. You can kind of see it in here on the right side of your screen, but I'll describe for the people on the podcast. Her legs are out of the bottom of the car. Now, not to make a joke, this is a serious situation, but it looks like the witch in the Wizard of Oz when the house falls on her is what this looks like here. And then the car is surrounded by Marines who are trying to lift the vehicle to get her out. And then there's one Marine on the left who is supervising, as tradition states one must. So there's a bunch of guys, including civilians, who are trying to get her out from underneath the car. What they ended up doing, what the Marines ended up doing, was they had gotten the jack out of the car that hit her, and then they gotten a jack out of another car, and by the time that the Marines jacked it up, EMS were on the scene. So the EMS pulled her out from underneath the vehicle, and they took control of the scene. But the Marines stuck around to help in any way that they could. So they were, as quoted by the fire department here, the woman survived the accident, and an outcome that the Marines played an integral role in, according to the firefighters. So the Marines were integral to reducing the amount of time that it took for us to care for that victim. Lieutenant Ruiz from Engine 18 said, if they hadn't done what they had done, it would have delayed care. Now, we've talked about this on the show a bunch of times, that and it always proves to be true, that military members find themselves responding to scenes like this regularly. I hear about this regularly, not only from looking on the news, but I hear about it in my day-to-day life. Like, it's just not uncommon for somebody, in uniform to stop and pull over and help somebody out who's been in a car accident, see smoke coming out of a building to respond and try to help. It's in the nature, and it's even in the training for the military. It's just something that military and veterans do. So it was a Belko, Staff Sergeant Belko says it was a direct team effort. We had neighbors that came, passerbys that stopped to help. We had fire and EMS. So it was a team effort that was able to, save this woman who was on her scooter, who got hit by a car. It doesn't give much information about the circumstances of the accident. Like, was this person, not paying attention? Was it her fault? I guess that doesn't matter. The main thing here is that Marines had helped this woman survive this car accident so she could be with family, recovering on this Thanksgiving weekend. So good for them. I got to hit the Bravo Zulu out to the Marine Corps there for their actions. And it's not surprising to me one bit that, military would do something like that. Now, if you go to YouTube and watch the video on the Marines official YouTube channel, you can see more information about that. I'm not going to play that video today, but it was interesting. I thought it was interesting, so I want to share that with you guys. Hey, I'm curious. Hit me up either here in the chat or online from email or Instagram or whatever, or Facebook at the ScuttleButt Show, of what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving. And maybe what was your craziest military Thanksgiving like? I've had a couple in Afghanistan. I've had two Thanksgivings in Afghanistan. And then those were the only times that I was deployed during Thanksgiving. I've been deployed during every holiday at some point. because I've been deployed every month of the year, either on ship or on land. So I could probably tell you a couple stories, but Thanksgiving has always been kind of, a chill holiday on deployment. The cooks pull out all the stops, whatever that is, maybe the good cold weather MREs if you're really out there. I'm trying to think if we ever did like ran ops on Thanksgiving. I don't think so. Same with Christmas. As we get closer to Christmas, I've got a great Christmas story. I've got an awesome Christmas story I can't wait to share with you guys, but that's a month from today, so I'll wait to share that one. I don't have anything too crazy from Thanksgiving. I think in Afghanistan we had Thanksgiving with the locals, invited them and had a big joint dinner thing, set up a lunch outside or whatever. It's funny, Afghanistan, where I was this one particular time, because I was there twice for Thanksgiving, this one particular time, it wasn't that cold yet. It didn't really get cold until December, so I think we were still hanging out outside, enjoying the day. I'm a little hoarse today. Sorry, I'm a little congested. Sorry if you can hear it in my voice. So let me do one of the stories. So Speaking of Afghanistan, you guys can see this thumbnail, right? If you're on the podcast, if you can't see this thumbnail that I just posted up, head over to YouTube and check it out. I'm pretty satisfied with this thumbnail effort that I did, because what I'm looking at here is Crocodile Dundee, but overlaid with the body of an Australian Special Forces member. And the movie's called Australian Special Forces War Crimes. These operators in Afghanistan were out for blood, a lot of blood. Now, unfortunately, I had to give this 2 thumbs down because I'm not a big fan of war crimes. So let me throw 7 minutes on the clock. Now, it turns out that over the years, Australians have been accused, there's been scuttlebutt of mass murders of Afghani civilians by the Australian Special Forces. Now, if you don't know, Australians have been fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. I've worked right alongside them, as well as Canadians and Europeans and all kinds of different people from all different countries. Okay, those are NATO forces. So, arguably, the war in Afghanistan is an American war. I mean, obviously, post 9/11 invasion of Afghanistan, but terrorists have attacked countries all around the world. All first world countries are targets of terror attacks. Obviously, countries all throughout the EU have had massive problems with terror attacks, especially with ISIS. So there are reasons for these countries to be there. And then other than that, they are also just allies, okay? They're allies. So the Australian Special Forces have confirmed, Australian officials have confirmed that over 23 incidents of the killing, in 23 individual incidents, there's been a killing of 39 people, civilians in Afghanistan, by 25 members of Special Forces personnel. So let me recap those numbers because that might have been confusing. 23 incidents resulted in the deaths of 39 people. 25 Australian soldiers are accountable for those deaths. So it used to be that people would say that was a rumor, even though the media has been reporting about this for a long time. But the Australian Defence Forces have confirmed that this is true. And it says that the incidents are now a matter for the police in a courtroom. It's unfortunate that this is going to be a big black eye for the Australians who they do a lot of good work. They do a lot of good work out there. They are not there in the kinds of numbers that Americans are, but they're out there for sure. Always. They've been out there. They've been putting in work. The Australian troops have PTSD. They've suffered casualties. They have injuries, okay? All of that. They have all of that, okay? So you got to understand that there is a presence of Australians fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan all around the world alongside of Americans, coalition forces. So it was prior, stated that there was a lot more Australians involved, But from reading this article, it turns out that when Australian Special Forces deploy, they deploy with a 1-to-1 ratio of like support to SF. So there was actually not that many SF people, then there was a lot of support staff as well. So a small percentage of the Australian forces are responsible for these incidents, like you said, 25. So of course, they're going to put a lot of blame on the leadership. So the immediate question that stands out is, how much did perpetrators' commanding officers know, and when did they know it? After all, General Campbell was in command of Australians in Afghanistan in 2011. General Hurley, Australia's current head of state, also sent out a special directive about the war crime of murder to his troops in 2013. And more damning still, it says, a now infamous photo of Australian troops flying a Nazi flag alongside a currently serving brigadier is standing off, and a currently serving brigadier general is standing off the side of the vehicle. Fittingly, he's looking away. And I have that photo here. So look at this photo. What you have here is a stripped down military vehicle, and it's very blurry. I can't tell exactly what it is, but you can clearly see it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 troops, and it's out in the middle of a big open field in Afghanistan, and a Nazi flag flying. I mean, clear, you can see it clear as day, a Nazi flag flying from the front of the vehicle there. And the reporting is that that was not the only picture. There are other pictures that are floating around, so it was flown many times. It is, that's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, why is there a Nazi flag flying? I didn't even know that that was a thing in Australia. Now, it says here, commanders set the conditions in which their units may flourish or wither, wrote Justice Paul Brereton, the author of the released IG report on the incidents. If the commanders did not know, the commanders are still morally responsible. Assistant Inspector General David Wedham, another contributor to the report, described the command climate as fractured, compartmentalized, and dysfunctional. That's probably true. This in keeping with what media had already established. One Australian special operations officer put it to me like this: the leadership style was apathy, fostering an environment in which troops were set up to fail. So how much did they know? How much did they choose not to know? What institutional walls did they knowingly erect that prevented them from knowing? And who among the officers must be held responsible? I think, like, to me, by the way, this article is from Task and Purpose originally. To me, it seems like the whole, I don't know how big the Australian Special Forces organization is. How many people are in the Australian Special Forces? Let me look that up real quick. So how many Australian Special Forces are there? There's no easy Google answer here. Let me try to figure it out. So the Special Forces of the Australian Defence Force are units of Special Operations Command, associated units of the Royal Australian Navy, the Royal Australian Air Force, that conduct or support special operations to advance and protect the national security of the Commonwealth of Australia. They've deployed to Afghanistan. They've deployed to Iraq as well. I can tell you that. There is, let's see, all of the Australian Army Special Forces units have been grouped together under the SOCOM-D since December 2002. Clearance divers are under the command of the Navy, and it just doesn't say, I don't see how many total numbers there are. But anyway, that's for, I'll try to get that information to you on another one. But that's, if you've got guys, okay, first of all, you have to pack a Nazi flag. You know what I mean? So you have to, if you have a Nazi flag in Australia, you have to pack a Nazi flag, which means that you had to be back in garrison, probably representing that type of idealism. And what I wonder if that's like accepted. I wonder if that's accepted. So back in garrison, are these guys like Heil Hitler and all this before they even go on deployment? Are they talking about how many, Muslims they're going to kill and how that's the right thing to do? Like, I wonder these things now, because you have to pack, like, that. I think that is the question. Like, under what circumstances did they pack the flag? Like, that's how easy it is to figure out how big of a problem this is. That flag got packed. Gear gets inspected, okay? people bring stuff. It was probably no secret that somebody packed that flag. So just by that alone, I bet that this was a pretty broad-reaching problem. I will attest that I have never seen or heard of an American flying a Nazi flag in country or having one or propaganda or anything like that. That's sick. I think that that's totally sick. So let's see, comprehensive troop data is important to understand the scale of the problem. To contextualize the 25 perpetrators, more than 3,000 soldiers had served in special operations task groups in Afghanistan, but this is not the correct sample size. So a tooth-to-tail ratio of 1 support staff for every combat troop. As any soldier will know, the real population in question with respect to war crimes is the population of shooters. And the population of shooters is generally small considered to the population of the military. Like, for example, the amount of people that actually are in the military for the United States is like 1 million. The amount of people in the military who are actually shooters is like 100,000 or something like that. Maybe. That'd be like high-end, all-combat troops. Most of the military is non-combat troops. So additionally, the incident statistic of 23 substantiated cases likely only represents the most egregious murders and executions. Questions still remain about what one 2nd Commando Regiment soldier called reckless killings. Indeed, one damning passage in a report describes how some aspects of the targeting process, a life and death analytical task that usually requires teams of intelligence staff, was handed off to patrol commanders, meaning that the killers were also deciding who should be killed. I have some questions about that. So there's ROE, there's rules of engagement, which clearly state when it is okay to engage somebody, and it doesn't always have to be when they're shooting at you. You can engage somebody who has, in some instances, who has a cell phone or a radio or a pair of binoculars or something like that. Now, that depends on intelligence from the area and what the current rules of engagement are, including what the threats are. So it's a little unclear what they mean there to me, because then also, like, ground force commanders have control over airstrikes, so they have released authority for weapons on air. So if there's an aircraft in their command that's flying over them that they're talking to, they could say, yeah, you can go strike that target because that's the ground force commander's intent. All of that responsibility rests on the ground force commander to make and live with those decisions, though. So I wonder what they mean by the people killing were the people deciding who needed to be killed. So the question remains, how many non-combatants died because of shoddy intelligence analysis by super-empowered patrol commanders? That's a question for every deployment, for every branch, for every country, right? How many non-combatants die because of our war-fighting efforts? Now, it's just a fact of the matter with war, though, right? People are going to die, and it's unfortunate. But you have to try to minimize civilian casualties and collateral damage to, property. So it is, and as the war went on into the 2010s, it became a major concern to, and I think it really started in 2009 from my memory, 2008, 2009, a major push to limit the amount of collateral damage and civilian casualties that were caused by American efforts. I'll say that because that's what my experience is. And it became to the point where we weren't even running operations if there was a risk to civilian, like a major risk to civilian casualties. So, and then at the beginning of the war and the invasion of Iraq and the initial part of Afghanistan, civilians were getting killed all the time as a collateral damage. And it was an accepted loss for the mission. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. It's not okay to write that off, but it's war. So it's going to happen. So the Australian Defence Force must be transparent about excess civilian deaths caused by the SOTGs. We need to know how the murderous subculture impacted other areas of the battle space. But additionally, the net effect of this breakdown of command control and values has security implications for Australia's allies. The indiscipline clearly extended to other domains. For example, in 2014, an Australian Special Forces signaller in Iraq was ordered by his commander to falsify documents required to access SIPRNet, a secret U.S. system. The soldier disobeyed, but what does this say about the willingness of Australian Special Forces leaders to streamline the rules, to sidestep much-needed restrictions? Australia's partners in the Five Eyes intelligence network should be concerned. I wonder what information he was asked to falsify. Thankfully, some extraordinary Australian voices have emerged from this process. For one, the Australian public owes a great debt of gratitude to Dr. Samantha Krompvitz, the outsider sociologist who first uncovered the brutal truth during an internal culture survey. Then, of course, there are the whistleblowers themselves. The majority are former sports staff who served in medical, signals, and legal roles. Brave men like I'm reading from the article. Brave men like Braden Chapman, Dusty Miller, David McBride, and the late Kevin Frost, who died by suicide last year, unfortunately. Frost was one of the few shooters to go on a record to the media. Wow. Isn't that so common that the whistleblowers or the people who try to do the right thing here bear some of the heaviest moral burden and get, then exiled by their commands and their communities and end up committing suicide? Wow. That's really unfortunate. How representative are these whistleblowers? Is this caliber of moral courage the norm among shooters in Special Operations Command, or are they just outliers? A tiny number of bad apples, as some put it. I'm sure that they're not all bad, but somebody had to pack that flag. I think I keep going back to that. Somebody had to pack that flag. This brings us to the question of the institution's future. Is this going to affect, so now it's an opinion piece, so I'm way past my 7 minutes, obviously. So the question remains, what influence is this type of incident going to have on Australia's involvement in future warfighting efforts? Should they be kicked out of Afghanistan and Iraq? Should they be barred from participating in NATO warfighting efforts, kind of like Blackwater, for example, after their massacre of civilians by one of their company members? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll just say that no community is immune from this type of thing, especially after decades of warfighting and dangerous cultural norms within the individual communities, like within the Navy SEALs, MARSOC Raiders, Army Rangers, and Green Berets. When the culture starts to off track, you have to worry more and more about this type of thing happening. And obviously, other countries are going to have it too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious. That wraps it up for this subject, so I'm going to close this one out now. I'll go back to some of the comments here. So Colton says, the graveyard of empires is so true. Yeah, it's true. Joe says, just got my targets. I won from Crate Tactical, having a better than nothing week. Good. If you ask the SF, they're killing terrorists. They let off Eddie Gallagher. Their problems are down under. Well, so I wonder if they would make an argument, a defense that they weren't civilians that they killed. Like I wonder if they're like, oh, well, those guys were obviously, Taliban or Al-Qaeda or ISIS. We knew that and we killed them. Or were they like super innocent civilians who really had nothing to do with anything, and they were maybe even anti-Taliban, and they were just murdered in cold blood? There's still more information that I'd like to know and be able to report, but I didn't have it, and I'll try to find it. So Colton says cover-ups of blue on blue is a bigger problem, I'd say. Which are you referring to, Colton? I'm curious. Pat Tillman was friendly fire. Yep, they did deny that for a long time. But friendly fire is different from, is not murder, right? Fratricide is not murder. It is, I feel horrible for anybody involved in a fratricide event. It's very scary. The idea of that happening scares me. It would be impossible to live with that if you shot your teammate, and killed them. Either from confusion or an ND or whatever it is, that would be really tough. Rage Guy says, happy early Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the spotlight on the armed forces of our allies, even if it's for bad news. I still remember the Kiwis helping out a helicopter team in Afghanistan. Yeah, I've worked with them in Iraq and in Afghanistan, had them fly through our bases. In Iraq, I lived right next to their camp. We saw each other on a daily basis. We had joint ops, everything like that. So it's, like I said, it's not all bad, but, I think it's important to talk about this stuff and not pretend like it's not a thing. It's definitely a thing. So got to talk about it. Let's see. What's next on the docket today? I can't believe that flag, that Nazi flag. And you got to ask yourself, why would somebody pack that flag if they didn't think that was going to be an acceptable thing to do? So obviously there's a major culture problem that exists in a place where you can fly a Nazi flag without having to worry about getting any negative looks or feedback from your team. If I ever saw somebody doing that, I wouldn't let that shit fly, so to speak. So, hey, I got some interesting news here that I saw today. I thought you guys might be interested in this too. The military, for now, will not be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine. I know a lot of people are wondering about this. The military will not be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine as we know, or maybe as we believe, because I don't know if I know this, but I believe it. By the way, head over to ScuttleButtShow.com and get a shirt, get a coffee mug. It's just in time for the holidays. Perfect gift for you or your veteran friend or family member is some nice Scuttlebutt Show swag. Okay, so as we believe, the military is a guinea pig for vaccines. I've had so many vaccines in the military. I've had 10 anthrax vaccines, just for starters. So it's no shock, and we're not strangers to getting a bunch of vaccines. But as of right now, the U.S. military will not be required to get the COVID vaccine because it's not FDA approved. So I thought this was interesting. The I guess deal is nobody can make someone get a vaccine if it's not FDA approved. Non-FDA approved vaccines are volunteer-only basis. So in a town hall forum earlier this month, Air Force Colonel Jessica Spittler, 30th Medical Group Commander, said everyone who requests the vaccine will be required to give informed consent to receive it, meaning they must speak with their doctor specifically about the immunization and then agree to get it. It will remain voluntary as long as it's not officially approved by the FDA, a process that could take 18 months to 2 years. In other words, someday the COVID vaccine, one of them will be FDA approved, and then you'll probably get it in boot camp. One of the 50, okay? But for now, this non-FDA approved COVID vaccine will not be mandatory. It will be available, and you can get, according to this article, you will have informed consent. So they will tell you all about it, the risks, the effectiveness, the efficacy rate, the actual impact it'll have. Like, you might still get COVID, but it might not be as bad or whatever it is. It says that since the beginning of the outbreak, almost 80,000 troops have gotten COVID. The total number of cases among service members, dependents, and civilian employees and contractors was 111,000 as of Monday. 124 DoD-affiliated persons, including 11 active service members and 76 civilians, have died. As of Monday, 13,334 VA patients, including veterans and staff members, were being treated for COVID-19. The VA has seen nearly 100,000 cases since the pandemic was declared. More than 4,500. More than 4,500. I just think, I'm sorry that I'm like pausing here, but I think it's weird that you would say more than 4,580. Like, why wouldn't you say nearly 4,600 or over 4,500? Like, it must have been like 4,583 or something like this. Anyway, more than 4,580 veteran patients have died, as well as 69 VA staff members. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think it's important to remember that that's all people who probably would still be alive if it wasn't for COVID. So the vaccine, it's going to be voluntary, which is why it's important to do your own research. I'm going to get it. I'm going to have my kids and my spouse get it. Mastelier said. Mastelier is... how did I miss that? Let me see. I'm trying to look for, so this person, Mastelier, who is this? Why did I not see their name earlier? I'm a bad reporter. So, Colonel Anthony Mastelier, 30th Space Wing Commander, said that the base is slated to receive up to 10,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine once it receives emergency use authorization. I don't think Space Wing is Space Force. I'm just laughing because anything space is kind of funny and nice. So, okay, so you won't be required to get the COVID vaccine, which is cool. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, as I said. I did find a cool Black Friday sale, which is, this is totally unaffiliated, by the way, but tacticalgear.com is having a Black Friday sale. 25% off top brands, 85% off doorbusters, and free shipping over $99 in orders. It looks like they have, 511 Nike, First Tactical, Under Armour. What else do they have? Reebok, Rockies, Bates, Blackhawks, Solomons. Good to go. So if you're looking for some cool deals, maybe tacticalgear.com. has that, and that's, I guess, free promotion for them. But I thought it'd be nice to look for any Black Friday sales that the veteran audience might be interested in. I love my Solomons. If Solomon ever listens to this and wants to sponsor this show, I am all ears. I love my Solomons. Wore Solomons on every deployment. Still wear Solomons to this day for my hiking shoes. Love my Solomons. So, got a sad story to report here. Army member commits suicide after reporting sexual assault. Nicole Burnham, a private in the Army stationed at Camp Casey in South Korea, was sexually assaulted multiple times and eventually succumbed to suicide. So let me put 7 minutes on the clock. The article is from Task and Purpose. I was able to find a couple other things on this, but this article is a great reference. Her parents say the Army did nothing to help their daughter after she was sexually assaulted multiple times. That sexual assault reported here in June 2017 when she was held down against her will by multiple male soldiers. And then it says she was sexually assaulted again 2 months later. And I don't know if this is leaving out some of the details of this sexual assault. I don't know what held down against her will means. I can imagine, but that would be it. It's not good, obviously. So Nicole's story is part of a 1.5-year long investigation that CBS Evening News reported about sexual assault in the military. An Army spokesperson confirmed that Burnham was the victim of abusive sexual contact, sexual harassment, indecent language, and a wrongful communication of a threat. So the Army is acknowledging that this did happen. This is not a accusation with unfounded evidence. Her assailant was administratively discharged from the Army, so the person who did it was kicked out, and the Army took appropriate administrative action against the leaders. So this is a very real, tangible case. But what did they do to protect her post the assault? So that's where the parents say, and her advocates say, too little, too late. After her assaults, Nicole reportedly requested an expedited transfer back to the United States, but her mother said it took 82 days to get it approved. I'm sure every one of those days was agonizing, especially when you're part of a command that has kind of turned their back on you. The Army can deploy thousands and thousands of troops during a war situation within 24 hours, Steve Burnham told CBS, and they can't expedite our daughter off base after 2 sexual assaults. Something to think about. They obviously could have. They do have that capability. It's not about cutting orders and how long that takes. This could have been done. Army spokesperson told Task and Purpose that after Nicole's death, the Army reviewed her case and established procedures to ensure expedited victim transfers occur within 30 days and that losing and gaining units have visibility on these cases. So I will say from the Navy, one of the policies is if you, and I don't know if this is still true, if this is not still true, correct me. If you were accused of sexual misconduct, you had the right to change commands afterwards if you were wrongfully accused. If you were a victim of sexual misconduct, you had the right to change commands, and you could go request a change of station. So this is where it gets starting to get really bad. The Army spokesperson told Task and Purpose that after Nicole's death, the Army reviewed her case and established procedures to ensure, expedited victim transfers occur within 30 days and losing and gaining units have visibility on these cases. While Nicole waited to be, so basically the command could have sponsors, people there to help, advocates who are trained. When Nicole waited to be transferred, she faced harassment for reporting her assault, CBS reports. Official statements to CBS say that she was called a whore who was deserving of rape and that the harassment she faced led to feelings of self-isolation. What? Despite this, an Army investigation viewed by CBS said that her direct supervisor failed to report her suicidal ideation despite the mandatory reporting guidelines required to do so. Nicole finally made it home a few weeks before Christmas. Stacy said her mom said she could see that her daughter had lost weight and her hair was thinner. When she came home, Stacy said she locked the door in her bedroom and pushed a dresser up against it. And it was like, Nicole, you're home, Stacy told CBS. She's like, you don't understand. Within 2 weeks, Nicole was supposed to report to Fort Carson, Colorado, who was not made aware that she was a sexual assault survivor. And that is just another complete failure of the Army, she says. It wasn't long after Nicole arrived in Colorado, she was told she may have to go back to Camp Casey in South Korea to testify. So she was being called back to testify against her assailant, and that night she killed herself. And that night she committed suicide. So Stacy said the family received a report from the military which said the Army didn't think Nicole was mentally sound at the time of her death due to multiple sexual assaults and the systemic harassment over a substantial period of time. Do you think maybe that would be tough for someone to deal with, maybe? Huh? Stacy, the mother, says they knew this and they did nothing until they sent us home a flag-draped coffin. Wow. That's a horrible story. So that's a horrible story. And I am trying on this show to advocate for women veterans whose voices go widely unheard, not only in regards to sexual harassment and misconduct, but also to their general service. Women just do not get honored for their service as much as men do. They don't get recognized as veterans. They don't, get considered when people think of heroic Americans, even though there are thousands and thousands of, tens of thousands of heroic female veterans who make the military proud, make America proud every day. And I try to tell these stories, share these stories of both courage and sacrifice and sad ones like this, and Vanessa Guillen, who's, in this thumbnail here, who was also murdered at an Army base this year. Because I think that it's important, and I hope that you guys think that it's important too. So we need to keep talking about this stuff and shedding light on it. Not that I think that me talking about it's going to solve any problems, but I just don't want it to be, by the wayside and forgotten about either. So I'll keep sharing stories like this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. So I didn't know. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm really curious. So I didn't know what to do for Thanksgiving. I wanted to do something kind of funny and end the week, end the episode with that on a lighthearted note and send you guys on to your turkey day with a positive something in mind. So I've got this funny animal video. Funniest turkey compilations, Thanksgiving edition. So I will go ahead and let me make this bigger. Let me make the screen bigger here. And let's see. Sorry if you're listening on the podcast. Put myself down in the corner. And let's go ahead and together watch funny turkey videos to get in the mood for Thanksgiving.
You better
go. This turkey's chasing this little girl around. The parents definitely set her up. Turkeys are kind of gangster. Like they'll attack you pretty hardcore.
Pets are sometimes cute, sometimes are annoying. Today's video features some of the funniest moments of animals annoying people. Get ready and try not to laugh.
Dad's wearing some army pants. He might have been actually military. There are a lot of parents hooking their little kids up with turkey attacks here.
Go home.
Run home. Turkey's chasing this kid down the street. Damn. Turkeys hate kids. Turkeys just hate kids. I don't know what to tell you. Don't be a kid if turkeys are around. And also, the parents are traumatizing these kids. It's so funny. Hurry, get around. This guy's got a leaf blower. Got a leaf blower to scare away these turkeys. This kid, he must have been talking trash in Turkey. Scared the kid. I wonder if this whole thing is just going to be turkeys chasing kids. Which would be I guess fine with me. A dog. Got a dog at that time.
Give it.
Oh, this turkey stole $10. This turkey stole $10 from the lady.
Never started with the chickens.
Colin, you want to feed the horsey?
Look out.
The horsey? Nice. Kid's talking turkey. This kid looks pretty scared.
Turkey.
He's about to get bit. Oh, he got drop kicked. He got drop kicked. Here's get your eye poked. Don't go get a selfie with a turkey. You're gonna get your eye poked out. Oh, I wonder if that guy even knew that turkey was there. He got scared. This turkey's chasing this lady around. This lady's trying to make it Alexis to remember Christmas, and this turkey's not letting her have it. December to remember.
Oh my God, he's coming!
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when the turkey chases you.
And then
Damn. The turkeys have no boundaries. This turkey's dancing doing the river dance on top of this kid's head. This turkey might be humping this lady's leg. This turkey's playing soccer and winning. Oh, that turkey's trying to come inside. That's a big mistake this time of year. Maybe we're on a rescue mission. That's the breacher turkey.
They don't like the bike, huh? Just get on him right away. You'll be okay.
This turkey's chasing a golf cart.
Like that black.
Watching the parents make fun of the kids while they get chased by turkeys is the best. I appreciate that. They're fast, too. These turkeys are kind of fast.
What are you guys doing?
They're fighting.
They're not stopping. They're not letting go.
Those turkeys are fighting.
They done tore up my yard.
Oh.
Sale.
This
You better
lady
quit.
is sparring with this
Gonna
turkey.
get you.
She's going to
gonna
definitely
get
get
you.
attacked,
Get him,
which is exactly what she deserves.
Go get him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, kids. For Thanksgiving, we're having ham.
I bet they
I
appreciate
want
that.
my sandal back. Come
Oh,
on,
this one stole a sandal.
That's
Sandal
mine.
vandal. This girl's locked in a
trap you
cage,
in
surrounded by turkeys. That's pretty traumatic, I bet.
Did you see that? He wants to put his wing around you. Look at there. See? He just loves
This
you,
turkey's
buddy.
giving this kid a hug. That was nice. That was nice.
Cheese.
Ooh, they don't like cheese. Ah, I miss playing football on Thanksgiving out in the yard. This car is getting
get it,
backed
turkey.
up. Oh, it's a dog.
Go get it, turkey. Get him. Get
That
him.
dog and those turkeys are getting along. I bet that those turkeys will jack that dog up.
This one's for Gus. Nope.
Playing some soccer.
Gus is going. Gus
And
said he'll get it.
the turkey is gonna step in and, although I think that was like a basketball. That lady got really, really scared, and the dog did nothing. Do turkeys really respond when you gobble at them? This is weird. This guy's an Amazon Prime driver chasing a turkey away with a shovel. This lady's or gentleman is yelling at this turkey. Begging for help, running away. Come on.
Ooh, don't strike me now. Don't strike me now.
Don't try to pet him then.
I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Do you like Thanksgiving? No?
Foster care system. You want to be a foster parent, but you will be a voice.
This person must be trying to adopt this turkey. Oh, wow. She can really... This lady's running through the yard, Got dogs going
it's like
crazy.
We're playing chicken.
But you're playing turkey.
What is he doing? He's going under it? What? Hey, buddy. Can you move away from my
Turkey's
phone?
blocking the road.
Don't go over them. They're crossing the
Shaking
road.
the tail feather.
The big one is making a show for the women.
Yep. Turkeys are crazy looking. Uh-oh. Whoa. Full reverse. Getting chased. Oh. Putting dents in the car.
Come on, Rosie. You hear the dogs? It's okay.
Okay, you can come this way.
Oh, that turkey's like a pet. That turkey's like going for a walk. Here's a dog playing with a little baby turkey. Doesn't know what to do. Here's a kid running in slow motion from a turkey. Here's a kid trying to herd some turkeys. I'll be honest, that was kind of whatever, huh? That was like not the best reaction I've ever done, maybe. But I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time too. Aussies are heaps of joy. Who's the Australian guy who does the commentary? If you send me to him, I'll check it out. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's Thanksgiving episode. It was just really mostly a normal episode. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving with your families. I am going to go have one with mine, my little friend family out here in Okinawa, Japan. Might go try to swing by base and go over to the galley and see what kind of food they're serving over there. If I do, I'll try to take some pics for the Instagram, if you guys follow me on Instagram, where you can catch my day-to-day life stuff. Yeah, so happy Thanksgiving. I will see you on Sunday night, USA time, Monday morning, Japan time. I look forward to talking to you again then. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate that a great deal. And I am out for now.